So yeah, that's as far as we can explain about the forms of Super Mario Party in general, after all. So even though that there's not much else we can talk about, so yeah, at least we got 8 stuff, so let's just go down here, and we'll go ahead and buy something for Flutter right there, so that we can able to actually, what else, get ourselves the golden pipes. So even then though, that way we could easily get back up to 5 power stars, or in this case, what do I say power stars? I meant the actual stars. So, anyways though, so even then though, that because of that, however though, we don't have to worry about getting these mini stars now. So yeah, because you know, unlike in, you know, the previous Mario Party titles, specifically 9 and 10, then you know. Alright, so we got Bumper Brawl, another team-based minigame. This one is pretty fun and chaotic at the same time. Bump your rivals out of the arena, hold the button on the right to charge up power, and then release it to slam into your rivals. So, it's kind of like how the same way for how it does it for Bumper Balls from both Mario Party 1 and Mario Party 2, but a lot more fun. So because of that though, let's go ahead and shove those players out. But this time around, however though, it's basically, depends on how many players you have, or how many allies you have. Well, basically it just starts to get a little bit more chaotic and plus purely awesome at the same time, just to ensure that you can able to actually mess around with any kind of player out there, and especially because of how the fact that, well, if you manage to get the hang of it, or get the hang of it I should say, then you would able to claim your victory for your Bumper Brawl champion. So, yeah, that's about it for the Bumper Brawl. I actually found it very fun. Yeah, especially because of how the fact that, thankfully though, we don't have to worry about motion controls, so instead we have to, you know, use the analog sticks and all that stuff, just like in the old times. Yeah, because unlike in one specific minigame from, oh yeah, we have a last 3 turn event now, so yeah, because if you remember from the Mario Party's past, ever since from the very beginning of the Mario Party series, it tells you what position that everyone else is in. Like, we're in 1st place at the moment, Pom Pom in 2nd place, Dry Bones in 3rd place, and 4th place goes to Princess Peach. So, yeah, and then next you notice the fact that, much like in Mario Party 2, and especially Mario Party 3, that some of these NPCs do eventually pop up every once in a while. Like, for instance, we've got Lakitu right here, and basically he telling us about the fact that suggestions about the fact that they need to give something out for those of you who become 3rd or 4th place. See, in this case, Peach got herself another replica of the actual Golden Dash Mushroom. So, and once in a while, just like any forms within Mario Party 1 through 4, the actual spaces between the blue and the red spaces will easily get doubled up. So even then though, that if you land on the blue space, it gives you 6 coins, and then if you land on the red space, you'll take away 6 coins. So, and what's even much more chaotic than that, is the fact that Kamek starts to show up, and basically he now transforms those bad luck spaces into extra bad luck spaces, even really unlucky spaces now. So even then though, it makes it incredibly dangerous kind of thing about it. So even then though, let's just avoid those at all costs. And even then though, let's just hoping we can able to claim our victory for that point. And also, much like in Mario Party Star Rush and Mario Party the Top 100 in the minigame match, the music starts to alter slightly. So even then though, meaning about the fact that we're getting quite close towards the end of the forms of the actual board gameplay. So even then though, that makes it a little bit more obvious for that point. So, and when we get to the final turn, which is specifically turn 20, most likely in the forms of how it does in the old days, since Mario Party 2, we're no longer gonna have to purchase any kinds of items, because for some stupid reason in Mario Party 10, in the Amiibo Party mode, that no matter what though, you still can't get items from the forms of the last turn, which doesn't make that much sense. But even though, because of how the actual Amiibo Party is structured in Mario Party 10, that it did try to able to replicate most of the gameplay style from the old school Mario Party days. However though, I will say though, is that the actual board itself, or in this case the Amiibo board, is very lackluster in comparison. Yeah, because it's all just in a square shape formation. And it also doesn't help about the fact that in the Amiibo Party though, you have to acquire an Amiibo in order to actually play that mode. But I'm glad to notice that while the Amiibo functionality is still a thing in this game, But we'll mention more details onto that when we get into the extra stuff of how this game offers. Well, at the same time, we need to mainly focusing on the main modes, which are, you know, there's some tons of modes to play around with, just like it informs within Mario Party Star Rush, basically. But except the fact that rather than being on the Nintendo 3DS, of course, but it's on the Nintendo Switch. See, Nintendo, I'm very glad that was a thing. In fact, that's how it should be done in Mario Party the Top 100, even though the reason why the Top 100 was on the 3DS to begin with is because some of these mini-games, most notably the ones in Mario Party 7, in Balloon Busters for example, that it does utilize, oh yeah, same applies for Dodge Attack as well. Those two mini-games do utilize the microphone system from between Mario Party 6 and 7. However, there was a thing, is the fact that the 3DS itself does have a microphone support on it, whilst the forms of the Nintendo Switch does not have the microphone on it. So, I think that makes it a pure example of how the fact that the reason why that was on the 3DS for, you know, Mario Party, the Top 100, than the likes of the, you know, Nintendo Switch in general, just because of the actual microphone minigames they actually included on that list. Which even then, that can mean so much of it though, Pinky. So anyways. Now we got ourselves 5 stars so far, so let's see what the next star space is going to be moved at. Of course, it's pretty obvious because you see that star pendulum right there, or that pedestal right there. It's going to be right near to the forms of that, you know, that item space, including by the forms of the long stretch of road, when it comes to, like, avoiding that happening spaces and all that stuff. So, anyway, so for the most part, we'll purchase the Golden Dash Mushroom for now, and then we should able to actually just get our things moving. Specifically, whenever we get to the next turn, specifically from here, I guess we'll have to, like, pay 5 coins from here. Although, kind of think about it though, I'm guessing that Peach might have tried to able to get that next star, because after all, that she did manage to have herself, not only for the sake of, like, the forms of the insane amount of those dice mushrooms that she's had, but I think it's also because of the actual ally system that she's already gone through. So, which, you know, she already has, like, I would say 3 allies now for her. So, anyways, Rattle and Whomp, we've already played this before. So even then though, this time around though, well, I think it might actually brings us to the exact same questions. Well, a little bit more different, if depending on if you manage to revisit to this minigame in general. So, anyways though, so Spike and Babam and the Condor. So, yeah, that's as far as I can say about this for the most part. So even then though, yeah. Alright, so I'm guessing it's Babam because even then it does have a lot more effective with the forms of the explosion HD Rumble feature. So, there we go then. Yup, spot on. And of course that's, what makes it a little bit more nonsensical to me though, when it comes to like winning minigames, specifically if you're in second place or anything for that matter, basically that for some reason if you manage to win a minigame, actually let me just concentrate on this first before we mention more details as soon as we get back into the main game board. So I'm guessing it will be regular, or if I don't know, because sometimes it can be pretty confusing at times because dang it. We actually lost that. Yeah, because sometimes that's, if you think that the actual HD rumbles between any kind of enemy that you've actually stumbled across, sometimes they felt pretty identical between each other, but even then, that's a little bit of a nitpicking right there. But either way though, let's just see how we can get on with this, last round. Even though I don't think we can able to, win this, I'm afraid, but even then though, let's see what happens there. I'm guessing it will be Cheap Jump? Yeah, let's just give, Cheap Jump a shot. See, but no, that way we could able to get our points there. But even then, though, let's just find out how many points we get. I'm guessing Dry Bones beat us by, dang it, 1 point. 1 point off by that loss. However, though, fine, be that way. Besides, we've already won this before, so it doesn't really matter, though. Besides, we might actually, we might as well able to get ourselves our minigame start, eventually, if the actual final results has been popped up. Well, at least to be more specifically, when the actual board game itself is actually ended, so. Anyways though, the last 2 turns left, see Nintendo, turn number 19. And I think for the most part though, for the majority of every single board in Super Mario Party, including the likes of Partner Party, which we'll get into that after. I would say though, after this mode is done, we'll eventually move it on to Partner Party, because even then, because there might be some differences between Mario Party mode than Partner Party, which even then, that again, we'll mention about that mode until after we're able to conclude, or in this case, done with the rest of, you know, Mario Party mode. So, yeah, you get the idea for this point, Sonic. It looks like Peach did manage to got her, of course, the next star for her, so that's pretty obvious because, you know, she actually used one of her golden dash mushrooms after all, so I guess she's now in 3rd place now, whilst Dry Bones, he was in 4th place after all. Yeah, you get the points, so let's see what that next star is going to be located, and it's going to be at, around in here. But I think she'll able to actually go near to the Lakitu spot. See Fernando, that way it could get some potentials there. So there she is right there. And does Peach might catch up for that point? Well, I don't know about you, but Fernando will find out soon enough. Yeah, anyway, about the forms of the positions, depends on what place you're in with the mini games and all that stuff. Sometimes though that it might map to the same way for how it does it in the previous NDQ Mario Party titles after all, since Mario Party 9, that if you win a mini game, you get the majority of the coins. However though, if you came 2nd or 3rd or 4th place, you can still get coins after all. So even then though, unlike in the Hudson Soft Mario Party games, and even Mario Party DS as a result too, that if you somehow lose the mini game, you don't get rewarded for anything. Most the forms have been specifically the NDQ Mario Party titles that normally that you can able to actually claim something for this. Depends on what place you're in, like, you know, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. That you get coins if you into that position, which either way, that it feels, I think that the reason why they're still doing that feature is because of how the fact that some people seem to think that, that makes it very unfair for most players out there. They've actually lost the minigame. So let's just say, screw it and do the same way for how it does it from before, from the Mario Party's past. Well, specifically the ND Cube installments. So, yeah, I felt it was a little bit iffy right for that point. Anyway, so, 12. Do we able to actually reach to the actual star space in time? The truth answer is, it will probably won't be, just because, well, honestly, because of Peach got herself 2 more of those golden dash mushrooms after all, so, can we still make it? Oh, yay, we did make it after all. Yay, top notch that is. Even though, if we like go below, like specifically 10 or something, we'll be screwed no matter what. Yeah, if Peach gets that star, then we'll able to be doubly screwed over from that part. So, yeah, there's our 6th star at this point, so not bad at all. Yeah, at least for the most part there anyway. Alright, so where's the next star space then? So, I wonder what that could be. Even though we'll admit though right away, do you know these little balloons that Toadaz was actually hop onto? Well, it'll actually do that a lot, specifically on, you know, the Mario Party mode, and the Partner Party, which again, we'll mention about that whenever we get to that mode. Just because if you couldn't tell by the forms of the actual box art of Super Mario Party, the fact that Toadette was actually riding onto those 3 balloons, that probably explains how the fact that, yeah. Oh, Sphere Moguls. Drag the spheres back to your arena. Gold spheres are worth 3 points. Move with the analog stick, obviously, and lower the magnets by pressing any of the right buttons. Well, at least it depends on what Joy-Cons you'll be using. You can either press the right button on the Joy-Con left, or you can actually press the X button, I think it's the X button, to, oh actually no wait, I think it was, Y, or anything like that. I'm guessing it will be X to be more exactly, because either way, that if you press the X or X button or the right button, depends on what Joy-Cons you'll be using. Like again, the right button from the left Joy-Con and then the X button for the right Joy-Con. and then that way you could able to actually just lower down your magnet. So that's how it goes, obviously. And there's our first new record in Super Mario Party right there.
A new record.
How nice that is. And even no, because, you know, this minigame actually includes the minigame's new record, so, because previously we, I think this is all depending on the forms of, like, we actually first time playing this, or something like that, or perhaps maybe that, again, it's been quite a few months since actually coming back into this game, because I think the first time I've actually played this was actually in October, so even then though, like 6 days after this game's released, so even then though, that wasn't in every single Nintendo Switch games these days. Well, the only exception is of course the Japanese version of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which did came out until in 2018, whilst in the rest of our countries did came out in 2017, but that's besides the point. That most Nintendo Switch games nowadays always seem to come out on every, like, a singular day in every single regions. Yeah, which is kind of strange if you ask me, because either way, because I'm pretty sure because of how the fact that, well, they're just trying to get some sales points out of the way. Although, kind of thing about it though, is that, if what I've heard, is that this game sold so well, even compared to the forms of, like, the previous, installment of the Mario Party series, which is of course Mario Party Star Rush and the Top 100. Well, I say the Top 100 just because that game came out in 2017 from the likes of you know, that 3DS. So, and I'm guessing the next star is gonna be at somewhere around there. And I'm pretty sure Dry Bones might get that star, but I don't know what items that he got so far. Maybe we'll find out until whenever when there goes has been done. Even though for some reason you get item space still on your final turns for some reason, which either way though, still it functions the same way for how it does it back in you know, in you know, Mario Party 10 Amiibo Party. So, whilst it didn't done that from the likes of in Mario Party 4, because in Mario Party 4, now if you land on the item spaces, that you don't get items after that if you land on that, you know, on your last turn. So it makes it obvious because the game itself is almost going to end. So I have no idea why they still keep that tradition with like getting any items at all if you land on that item space. Well, good thing about the actual item shop though, that I said this before, that whenever you reach to the final turn, that you can no longer buy items from that shop. So yeah, you get the drill from that. So yeah, looks like Dry Bones is definitely gonna get that star somehow. So yeah, that's how it goes for that part. So, and yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to mention about this actually. Since this board is called Whomp's Domino Ruins, the main gimmick about this board is the fact that, very similar to the forms of DK's Jungle Adventure in Mario Party 1, that if you really want to bypass through any kind of paths you want to choose, you always have to bet on these coins for able to actually just, you know, bypass for that Whomp, or in this case a Whomp. Now I think it does the same way for Mario Party 8 King Boo's Haunted Hideaway, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm assuming you're right, and it looks like the next star is gonna be on that spot again, because I see that star pendulum from the start. Yeah, because you know that sometimes that's what Toadette's always standing on, so even then that makes it obvious. So I think there's another reason that how the fact that I'm presuming, if I'm guessing it correctly, is the fact that the reason why Toadette wasn't a playable character in both the Top 100 and Super Mario Party is the fact that I'm pretty sure because she doesn't want to get her mane, or in this case her hairstyle, messed up. I'm presuming that's what that's at, although I may be wrong, but even then though, we'll able to actually explain more functionalities of that, but either way though, forget what I said. Anyway, so let's steal coins to Dry Bones because he's got the most coins out of the whole bunch. Well, because, you know, because he's keep on, like, getting several lucky moments, like, for instance, that hidden block from the very beginning of this board. So, naturally, though, that, you know, you get the idea. Alright, so that's that done, and, it doesn't matter what pathways we can go for. Let's just say, if we look down here, then is either choose between, the ally space, or the ally space from here, or the actual lucky space? I don't know. Either, no matter what though, since we're gonna have to ignore, or in this case trying to avoid that unlucky space right there, I guess we'll take the down route. Let's just double check. Okay, so if you go that way, then this will lead you to the extra bad luck space. But if we go down here, then we would able to land on an ally space. So if that's the case, we'll go for it. So let's ignore the right. So instead we have to go down. So yeah, that's how we can able to make our way safer when it comes to like if you're trying to win the actual board game or anything. So what's the final ally? Of course we have Wario, the greedy warrior himself. Even though it's kind of a shame that we have him from the very end of the final turn of this particular board. But even then though that he got a multitude of 6s and 2 of those -2 coins slots. So onto the final minigame in Whomp's Domino Ruins. And what minigame to be able to end off with? Soak or Croak. This seems just pretty fun though. Splash your rifles out of the pool, the water tanks holds 5 sprays, shake your Joy-Con for the refuel. So you move around with the unlock stick of course and press the button on the right on the Joy-Con to spray. And shake the Joy-Con up and down to refuel your water tank. So yeah, this minigame is so similar to the forms of paintball battle from Mario Party 10, except the fact that it's actually a little bit more better, because either way, rather than just actually forcing you to able to actually just, well, unlike in Mario Party 10, that your paint feel was actually pretty much unlimited, but in this particular minigame, it does feel pretty limited, so even then though, you do have, you know, 5 water spray shots, and then once you're able to take 5 shots of your water, then you can able to refuel it again. So even then though, that's actually pretty swell. And I really do like the actual environment of this place. So because of that, you know, we're going to be walking around on the actual water fountain for surely. And once the actual 20 turns has been ended, or how much turns you've actually gone for, then obviously it takes you to the actual final results screen. So the Ruins adventure is over. Yep, so that means about the fact that it's time for, what else? Some bonus stars. So yes, the reason why we decided to able to set this up to 20 turns, or 20 turns, as opposed to 10 or 15 turns, is the fact that how much bonus stars you'll be having. So the first bonus we have is the minigame star bonus. And can you guess what that goes to? Of course, since we've pretty much dominated for minigames, then the answer is obvious, it's ours. Yep, because we actually did manage to do pretty good when it comes to minigames. Well, some exceptions, mind you, but even then, yeah. And the second bonus goes for is Sightseer bonus, which means how many spaces you actually, you know, travels the most spaces. So if that's be the case, it will be not ours though, but Peach instead. Yeah, I'm guessing because of the ally system. So, and the third and the final bonus for this point here is the buddy bonus, which means the ally, you know, who ended up with the right allies. So in this case, it might be not us though, but Peach for Bowser Jr. So, yeah, because if you set this on 20 turn game, it gives you 3 bonus stars, but compared to 2 or 15, it gives you only 2 bonus stars, which it doesn't make that much sense. So here's the actual results in the winner of the Whomp's Domino Ruins is, of course it's pretty obvious, it will be us, Hammer Bro. Yay, how about that? Now I'm guessing that was actually almost like a close game, because obviously if Peach actually won that, then we could able to lose that easily. But either way though, that's as far as it will go. So here's the actual results screen right there. That Peach's second place animation is, you know, very identical to Mario Party 10, because, you know, that's how it usually represented with it. So not only is it able to show you the actual, like, what position the characters are in, but also, get this, we actually got ourselves detailed results. So how about that? So some detailed results, mainly by the forms of, like, how much stars you have, how much coins you have, and how much hidden blocks you have found. Well, so far we've only just found only 1, and Dry Bones also found 1. And also same applies for the mini games you have won for the coins department, how much items you have used, how much allies you have, how much spaces you have traveled, and how much spaces you've landed on, like blue, red, and lucky spaces, versus spaces, happening spaces, item spaces, ally spaces, bad luck spaces, and extra bad luck spaces, which even then, somehow we actually ignored the extra bad luck spaces after all. So, yeah, and also there we got ourselves a graph as well, which actually shows you how much stars we have from that tally graph. But even then though, that's as far as we can able to say about this here. So, then after the actual game ends, we got ourselves the party points, which we'll mention more details onto that until we get to the next board, until next weekend. So, with that being said, join us next weekend for the forms of Super Mario Party Let's Play. Is the fact that we are about to be playing through the second board in Super Mario Party / Mario Party mode. That is King Bob-omb's Powder Peak Mine. So, kind of a weird name though for a board. So see you guys then. Ciao.